Hola amigos, ¿cómo estás? How are you all doing? Just told my flatmate that even though I'm now doing this for 5 weeks already, I'm still always getting a bit like shaky and nervous when I record this kind of video. I don't know if you recognize it or not. I hope not too much at least. But yeah, happy to be back here in front of the camera again. A bit late. Was traveling in the weekend. It was absolutely amazing. Therefore, I didn't find the time to record the video. Besides that, what happened in my 5th week here in Nicaragua? I had a lot of crisis situations to solve with people going to Panama, people going to Brazil, trying to go to Brazil, me taking care of visa issues. But in the end, we somehow find a solution for everything. So I'm happy. A lot of challenges, but all overcome so far. And yes, it's absolutely beautiful and interesting to be challenged on such an everyday basis. Yeah, regarding my Spanish, I think it's improving, but I'm still not really getting what people talk about a lot. So, for example, I was hanging out with a couple of Spanish people this weekend, and especially when the Nika people talk between each other, I'm still like kind of lost in translation, mainly like almost all of the time. But when people talk with me, since they are conscious about me not being fluent, I guess they talk a bit slower, and then I can kind of have conversations, basic conversations at least. So that is kind of good. Funny situation that I had this weekend. So I kind of got overwhelmed with working, and I felt like I was lacking social life. So I thought about how I could like have a bit more social life, and decided to get Tinder installed on my phone. I don't really like the application because I think it takes away the thrill of going out and meeting people on a face-to-face level. But I just decided, especially to like get to know some people, then to get myself an easier start, it might be a nice thing to do. So basically, I matched on Tinder with two girls from a city called Leon, which is 70 kilometers from Manawa and is supposed to be really beautiful. So I went on basically kind of a date with one. I just went there, went to hostel and explored the city a bit and met the girl. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, come on, let's meet a friend of mine. She's just hanging out with the guy." And so we met the friend of her, and the guy was completely randomly from Germany, which was super funny. So we were just like having this like fun conversation and like making fun on both being like super culture shocked and how we're like affected by things. And then I realized that the girl, so not the girl I was dating, but the other one, was actually my other Tinder match. So that was getting a bit awkward, especially because the girl I was meeting was like playing around with the other girl's phone and was actually seeing me on Tinder. But yeah, nevertheless, it was a very beautiful day. I had a very fun day. It was a nice adventure, exploring the city, meeting people, speaking Spanish all day long, not really getting what they were talking about. But it was beautiful. It was a really cool experience. And yes, on the bus right there, I meditated for an hour. That was absolutely beautiful. I felt so free from all these like negative sensations that I had. It was absolutely amazing, and I managed to establish a proper morning routine once again. Yes, so if you guys are like interested how exactly my morning routine here looks like, just drop me a message. I'm always happy to share those kind of things. Um, yes, one of the thoughts that I had today actually was very interesting during meditation. Um, when I try to meditate here on my terrace, there's always so many flies coming around, and I always like try to get them away. Like I'm always like interrupted in my meditation, try to get them away, and I realized that those flies are kind of like thoughts. It's like those thoughts that always creep into your head when you're trying to meditate and trying to focus on not to think. And the more you try to get them away, like with force, the more it interrupts the flow of your meditation, and the more it's not actually working. And so when I started like to accept those flies crawling around and just keep calm about it, it really improved my meditation, and it even more improved when I just used to focus these tickly feelings. I used those flies and focus on these tickly feelings to not think but rather feel and be present to the moment. So it's interesting how once you get in a mode of accepting everything that comes, it can actually not even like make things smoother, but you can actually use it to help you. That was kind of a beautiful analogy I had to think of today in the morning. Yeah, so what are my thoughts right now? I'm throwing myself in a lot of Spanish-speaking surroundings. It's really cool. My work is super challenging. A lot of challenges coming up, a lot of things where I have absolutely no idea how to do them, basically on an everyday basis. But it's great because I really feel like growing with the responsibility that I have. And yes, a couple of things are happening here and there. A friend of mine got dropped in a taxi, so now I'm a bit nervous because like he realized that the taxi driver was driving the wrong direction and was like confronting him and then basically jumping out of the taxi, so he just like got scratched a bit. But I would probably not even realize that I'm driving the wrong direction. I would probably not even realize that I'm being robbed until an hour later after being robbed. Like, oh, at least that's how I picture it. But yeah, I mean, I guess if it happens, it happens. Not really is too stressed about it. One thing that I felt the last days was a bit of like, I don't know, it was like a lack of connection, I would say. I think that's probably because I just like speaking a lot of Spanish. I cannot really have these deep conversations that make me feel connected to a person because it's just too basic. So I think that's something that I'm kind of lacking right now. On the other hand, I realized that once I was like meditating in this bus, I was just super peaceful and super happy. So I guess maybe I can just compensate with meditating a bit more. And yes, it feels great to take responsibility of my experience to just like travel on my own to the city. It was a great experience. Made me feel like so much like in charge of what I'm doing here. That was absolutely great, and also made me feel a bit more home. This like going on my own and traveling somewhere, not like being this super reactive kind of person that is just like traveling at places when someone invites me, but like taking responsibility of on my own. And it's really cool because finally this weekend everyone moved in. So now the whole team is living together, one house, one team. Is super interesting. I'm really looking forward to the further dynamics. Yesterday we had an amazing party for the 4th of July. Since we're living with a girl from the United States, so we're getting like all super Texan howdy style country music and ate some hot dogs. It was absolutely cool. Yeah, my learnings for the week, I would say I need to take more time to learn Spanish and plan a bit more in advance because if I plan in advance, like for the last weekend, amazing things can happen. And another thing I would say that, especially yesterday, since I was very stressed at work, I mean, of course, everyone knows, but it just doesn't make sense to get too overwhelmed with stress. Just focus on the things that you can do and focus on the fact that you can not choose the situation that you're in, but somehow you have quite a big opportunity to choose how you feel about it. So choose not to feel too overwhelmed, choose to focus on the things that you can change, and once you have put enough energy in everything that you can influence, just let it go and see how it works, because in the end you cannot influence anything but your own actions. So yeah, that was my week. Kind of a long video today. Hope you're all amazing and have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.